good. So Mexican food, I mean, for English people, it's probably not, doesn't have anywhere near the significance it does for Americans, because it's very much part of the culture, whereas English is probably Indian or Chinese or it's more, but it's something I've grown to really enjoy over the years. I don't really know if I'm eating good Mexican or bad Mexican, to be honest, but I like it, so that's all that matters really. Very nice burrito I just had in here, definitely recommend it. So I first started working with Max, well, right from the very beginning. At the time I was doing a bit of commentary with at Lumpini, old Lumpini Stadium, for T-Sport channel and for TGN on the Saturday, and I was also commentating the Thai fight at the time as well. And one of the original people involved with Thai fight was Sia Num, the owner of Top King, and he kind of decided to move off and do his own promotion. He started Max originally. That was before the present owners, and straight away he said, "Oh, do you want to commentate?" So yeah, why not? You know, I'm not going to turn anything like that down. And they had the first show in Surin, up in the northeast. So they got Burkha involved. He'd kind of finished his contract. I'm not sure where he went on. He'd finished his contract with Thai Fight as well, and so they got Burkha on board. So straight away they've got kind of, you know, the biggest name in Muay Thai involved. So there was a lot of interest in Max early on. And the very first show, he did like a show fight with the American guy. I forget his name now. American fighter. And it was supposed to be just a demo. They were kind of hitting pads and then sparring, and Burkha almost knocked him out. But what's his name? My brain's gone dead.
มึนจำบ้านเลขที่ได้หรือเปล่าครับวัดสันโอ้โหตับกรรมการก็มึนด้วยเอาหลังตับนะครับขออนุญาตหายใจก่อนใจเย็นๆบัวขาวใจเย็นๆ
Anyway, they had a few more shows. I think they had one in France, Japan, China possibly, and I never got flown out to those shows, but we'd go and do them in the chat, because it was on Channel 7 at the time. So we'd go to the Channel 7 studios where they have the normal Muay Thai fights and commentate live from the studio in Thailand. And then the final show that year was the final of the tournament. I think it was Saget Dao versus Victor Nagby, if I remember right. It was up in Khon Kaen in the northeast. And that's the town from the owners now. That's where they're from, you know, or based. And Burkha had a memorable fight with Enrico Kell from Germany. I don't know if he stopped him, but he cut him badly. Got in a really strong performance that night, Burkha.
Really on fire this round, Burkha so far. Good body kick from him now. Burkha with a fast high kick. Oh, he can't. Blood is literally pumping out of that cut. Yeah, bleeding a lot.
Sometime after that, they kind of put on a few more shows, and then the Top King owner got involved with the owner now, brought him on board, and he decided to take it over, and they decided to go to a weekly show. They had the first one in Asiatique in Bangkok. That was, I think, around 2003 or 2004, and then they decided, basically Asiatique, the rent for the venue was just too much, so they decided to go to Pattaya. Started out at the Boxing World Stadium in Pattaya, which was already there, so a perfect location. And after a little while, they decided they were going to make their own stadium, and just one show a week back then on a Sunday. I was still working at Lumpini on a Saturday, and then they started a Saturday show, and I was still kind of I was going down on a Saturday. I was just commentating on myself on my own at the time, which was a little bit hard work, but great fun. then they moved to having the Saturday show, then the Friday show, and then eventually they became a one show every night of the week. It's been some brilliant times, you know, I have to say. A lot of people kind of knock Max a little bit because of its style, its entertainment, and they want the fighters to go forward. It kind of takes away maybe from the technical guys a little bit, but I mean, when they first were having the shows at their own stadium, I mean, they were getting crazy ratings, even through to they've just kind of the recent Corona. They've always had very, very good ratings, so you know, they must be doing something right. The Thai people loved it because it kind of took away from the gambling side of things, and people would actually fight from round 1 to round 3, and it was entertainment, you know. A lot of people would knock Max, saying, "Oh, it's not real Muay Thai, it's not true Muay Thai," but people enjoy it, you know. Outside of the kind of minority of people that kind of run it down for various reasons, it really caught the attention of the public because Muay Thai has been on a massive downward dip in the stadiums purely for everything that Max wasn't. People don't understand how fights are scored anymore. The decisions are confusing, the gambling influence. First 2 rounds do nothing and just dance around, you know, and then they might maybe fight hard in the 4th round, and then round 5 they're dancing again. And it's drove thousands and thousands of Thais away from the sport. They just got bored of it. They just don't want to watch it anymore, you know. Whereas Max just brought back that kind of that entertainment side, and you know, where you could actually watch a fight and 2 guys go at it for 3 rounds, and it kind of captured the attention of the people a lot more. In Thailand, it's hard to remember, so there's so many fights there, obviously with a promotion that was eventually putting on shows 7 days a week. But, I mean, there's been some incredible fights there, you know. When they first started the weekly show, it was on a TV channel. It was on a satellite channel called CTH, and they had a kind of a Max channel on that. They kind of they came in and they tried to, well, they outbid True Visions, which is the main channel, main satellite company. They outbid them for the rights to the Premier League in England and put loads of money in it. And they put in a dedicated channel for Max as well. So they was having one show, and they had quite a bit of money at the time, and they was giving Max good money. So they had some great tournaments where you had the $1 million baht for the winner. You had 3, you had the silver belt tournaments first, 4 silver belt tournaments, and then the 4 winners go through to fight for the gold belt, and that was $1 million baht prize if you won the gold belt. Some great fighters involved in that. Some good French fighters, Valentine Thibault.
เก็บกระทองก็จะเป็นนักชกคนที่ 2จากค่ายโอ้เจอหมัดครับ
I forget the name, the real tall guy that won one of the tournaments. He beat Toby Smith, I think, in Ireland. I can't remember his name now. Curtis Stighty from Australia. He had some real wars. They were always electric atmosphere with those tournaments as well. Massive crowds. I mean, you had the Cambodian Tuntiera. Whenever he fought, you'd have a stadium. It'd be probably about 80% Cambodians in the stadium, and you know, there was a real kind of electricity every time one of those tournaments was on. You know, there's been so many memorable fights. I mean, some of my favourites would have to be the Thailand versus Cambodia matchups, because there was something about the Cambodian fighters that they just bring this kind of intensity and craziness to the fights. Maybe not the most skillful fighters you've ever seen, but boy, they have heart. And you know, some of the fights, even for someone like myself who's been involved in the sport for many years and seen many great fights, you know, still the hairs on the back of your neck going up, you know. Chan Na was one of the Cambodian fighters that always bought it. Tuntiera had some absolute crazy wars. See, it was one of those kind of things when you think you've seen it all, even for someone like myself, Max would bring out those special moments. I mean, Dorian Price, when he had the double knockdown, I mean, you know, he's a friend as well, Dorian, and we're kind of laughing about it, and I always take the mickey out of him, which I love to do anyway, but you know, that was special. It was just, I was commentating with John Walcott at the time, and we were just like, wow, you know, we've just seen something incredible. And I remember where we were sat on one side of the ring, and across the other side of the ring, I could see the boss, Kunnawat, the owner, Max, you know, and just his face when both fighters got knocked down. It was, I think Dorian threw an elbow, did he? And the French guy, I think Jonathan Lacat, he threw a hook, I think, or it was either one way or the other, and they both went down at exactly the same time. And
good elbow from him. He's having to dig really deep here. Good
right. Oh! A double knockdown!
And you know, we're both, me and John both kind of know Dorian well, and we're both, you know, you've got to be kind of, as a commentator, you've got to be neutral, but you know, you can feel it. It's like, get up, come on. And we're kind of cheering for him to get up as well at the same time. And he did, he got the win. That was a special moment, one that, you know, and like I say, looking across at the ring and seeing the boss's reaction, he was just like, wow, you know, that was a special day.
Oh, left hook, the hook from Dorian, the elbow from Jonathan there.
Right
left
elbow.
hook from Dorian, the right elbow from Jonathan.
It was all about
the referee getting knocked out. That was another one I never thought I'd see, you know, with a crazy Thailand versus a Chinese guy, and he'd hurt the Thai fighter, and the referees jumped in to stop it, and just as he stopped it, the Chinese guy threw a kick and broke his nose. I think he had to have an operation on his nose. It knocked the referee out at the same time, and you had to get one of the other referees had to jump in the ring and count out the Thai fighter. And while the doctor was seeing to the referee, the poor Thai fighter was just laid there on the floor. No one cared about him. They were worried about the referee. But
ดักกุยครับนี่ครับแล้วนี่ครับแกเข้าไปเซฟเลยครับแต่อุ้ยโอ้
yeah, there's been some real memorable moments at Max. You know, there's been some great fighters that have fought there as well. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Max is just, you know, second-rate guys, whatever." But there's been some great fighters go through there, and Rot Tang won a 4-man tournament there. He was involved in the stadium scene at a young age, and he kind of stopped for a bit, and he was fighting up in Isan and kind of not really making a big name for himself, just fighting around the kind of the temple fairs, and he got back into it, and he fought at Max first when he was first stepping back into the stadiums, and he had a few fights there. But like I say, won a 4-man tournament. You had Pet Saman, Saman Garman. He was on a crazy win run up until last year, and I think he fought Prajanchai in the Lumpini birthday show. That was his first loss in something like 16 fights, and like 3 or 4 of those fights in that win streak were at Max. So many. It's hard to remember the name. The guy that wears the Batman mask is a big name at Channel 7 now. Nur Torani Samwisechai Jim. He fought at Max a fair bit. So, although it can be something of a place for fighters to kind of go to for maybe not an easier life, but away from the pressure of the stadiums, it's also been good stepping stone for some guys that have gone on to make big names in the stadiums as well. So obviously now this current COVID pandemic it's made things hard for everyone, you know. Max as well. A lot of people who thought that Max would be untouchable. You know, they've got the big stadium there, but as soon as the Chinese tours stopped coming in and things became harder for TV companies, then it's unfortunately it's made that they had to make a tough decision and to take a break, you know, and wait until the current climate changes, which is unfortunate, but it's the way of the world at the moment, unfortunately, and we've all just got to try and get through it. I am pretty sure, though, I'm very confident that they will be back, and you know, it's going to take a little while, the borders to reopen a little bit more, get some crowds back in the stadiums, and TV companies to kind of see some income coming again as well. That's the big problem, because this whole pandemic's had a big economic effect on everyone, you know, so things like sponsors and that are a lot harder to find. So once that's all done, I'm I've got no doubt that Max will be back, and you know, I really hope it does. You know, because love it or hate it, you know, it does offer a platform for people. You know, so it's offered a platform for a lot of foreign fighters to kind of get noticed and get experience and earn, you know, for Thailand at least, some decent money. You know, there's not a lot of money for fights in Thailand. You know, anyone kind of you can't, you know, it's not easy to make a good living here. And Max kind of made it a little bit easier for fighters, and like I say, gave them a platform. You know, the fights were fun. You know, rightly or wrongly, whether they're not the most technical Muay Thai fights in the world, or they're not 5-round fights, but they were entertaining at the end of the day. But I'm pretty sure they're going to be back.